position of autistic support, and we have Harley Straub from the position of high school counselor. So we thank both of them for their service, and in particular Harley for several years that she spent here in our district working as a high school counselor, in her involvement with our field hockey program as well. And we have Aurora Shar with her resignation, but her resignation is tendered for her intent to retire from the position of Coordinator of Human Resources. That will be effective September 15th. We also have a retirement notice, Mr. Craig Funk, and I'll get a chance, as we move closer and closer to January, I get a chance to roast him a little bit more as we get going there, so I'll save that, and we wish him incredible things, but I look forward to that opportunity to publicly recognize him for all of his dedicated service. We have a couple of hires here as well. We have Kaylee McGugan as our elementary STEM teacher. That name should sound familiar. She was an elementary teacher and left for a year to do some work with Pannone Education, which is a division of WITF, doing STEM education. And we're happy to welcome back Kaylee, to our school district, and she'll do an incredible job in that role, in that position. Audrey Renner as an elementary long-term substitute, and the transfer of Pat Hammaker for the position of head custodian at the middle school. So we welcome everybody, and we'll get a chance to spend some time during our orientation together. Looking at some changes of status, we have Sarah Miller moving across the scale with some additional education. We have a family medical leave, and we also have a mentor. Justina Yoder agreed to be the mentor for Riley Badorf as she enters into the field of education, and we look to support her with our new teacher program that's happening as well. We have a ton of co-curricular assignments. I will not go over all of those, but as you can imagine, as we look at those that are enumerated in the collective bargaining agreement, everything from team leaders to yearbook advisors to grade level advisors for the classes, to departmental leaders, marching band, high school band, varsity club, and musical. So lots of different positions that are rendered on this agenda to get ready for the start of the school year. We do have some athletic coaches. We have some those for this fall, which is Joe Krismer III for football, Lou Frisenda for football, and some volunteers, Tammy Coulter, Ethan May, Louis Frisenda, and Grant Finkenbinder at this time. There could be a couple of additions as well as we finalize paperwork and we finalize those being added to the agenda. We have some independent golfers looking at agenda items. We are at 10 independent golfers for the 26-27 school year, and we thank Mr. Adam Timchek for agreeing to be the independent golf coach again for the 26-27 school year. So it looks like, just looking at this paper, an incredible group of athletes that will have some fun on the golf course under the direction of a very talented advisor, Mr. Adam Timchek. We have changes to 429. It's basically just reviewing that again on our annual review, which is policy 429, which is the remuneration and fringe benefits for substitute teachers, taking a look at that policy and ensuring that we continue for the next school year to review those wages associated with substitute teachers. We have a motion to approve Amendment 2, and Amendment 2 I'll talk a little bit about tonight in our construction update, but that is for the removal of those accordion partitions and the installation of permanent walls. And those permanent walls came in, I know we talked at a number not to exceed $50,000 previously, but it came in at $44,495, and that was due to a large part to the mobilization that was already here and just the parts that needed to be ordered, and they were able to get moving on that particular item. The next is a motion to consider Champs Track and Field Services to conduct an on-site evaluation, inspection, and report. So $1,500 for an all-day evaluation of the track. They'll go in and put probes in the track, measure in the thickness of the surface. They'll look at the macadam underneath for any soft spots, and basically do a full report for us to know what the life expectancy age, what the next step should be in terms of our track. We discussed that a little bit, trying to get an evaluation. When we looked at our district facilities plan, knowing what we need to begin to prepare for financially and timeline-wise when it comes to that longevity of our 8-lane track. And we want to make sure that we continue to have that in place and plan when it comes to keeping our facilities updated. We have a Aurora bus list, approval list, and they had their meeting today, so an incredible group, and we're thankful for the partnership with Aurora Bus and the partnership with our drivers who do a great job. They're the first people, a lot of times from the district, the representatives that see our students, and sometimes the last representatives from our district that see our students. So they have an incredible job, and we're thankful for what they do each and every day. We have a motion to approve an Act 80 day for the kindergarten split time on August 26 and 27, and one Act 80 day on November 11th for parent-teacher conferences, which is also Veterans Day. We have on the agenda a motion to consider Kathy Kisner and continue with her independent contract to work in terms of our community and public relations. Kathy does a great job of keeping up with our social media accounts, working in conjunction with local television and media stations, getting out news briefs and blasts, and getting out a lot of different notices, especially when it comes to inclement weather. She definitely is the voice of the morning snow delay or cancellation. So students definitely look forward to hearing her voice in the morning at different times. We'll have some updates. We have booster club financial reports for your review that are located here, as well as some bylaws also. And we have some dispositions of some items that are broken or no longer in use. And that rounds out our agenda at this time to date. Now, there obviously will still be some additions, and as we get closer to August 11th, as we begin to finalize and discuss staffing and staffing needs and all those things in between. So that's kind of rounding out where we're at right now for Tuesday's meeting. All right, any questions on that? I'm going to turn it over now before we get into some presentation items. I'd like to just introduce once more Dr. Tom Kramer, our Assistant to the Superintendent for Academic Operations, and he's going to go over kind of our team approach to new staff orientation, our professional learning agenda for the start of the school year, kind of a different approach that we've taken this year, and what we're going to do to welcome our staff back during those days. Dr. Kramer?
Hi, everyone. It's nice to be here this evening for the first time actually working here. And it's day 19 for me, so I'm racking them up here as I go. In front of you, you have a schedule from me. You'll see the top page is our what will be 2 days for our new employees to the district. One of the things that we looked at trying to do is maximizing their time with us and making sure that we're utilizing the time that we have with them in the most beneficial way. So you'll see that the first day on there, we are meeting with all of our new employees within the district. The second day is tailored to those that have never had an induction before through the state. So we'll be checking off some of those requirements there. It's really allowed us some flexibility to make sure that we're getting them each individually what they need and kind of maximizing their time with us. And on the second 2 pages that you'll see there that are stapled together, that is our agenda for all staff coming back. You'll see there on the 24th, I highlighted there if you are interested and able to attend, we have Dr. Edward Albert coming from the Association of Rural and Small Schools to speak to the staff. We'll be having a light breakfast that morning. Dr. Fox will be doing welcome and introductions, and then he will be like our keynote speaker that day. So if you're interested in attending, that is available to you. And so I highlighted there for you so that you have the time frame for that. And you'll see there just the different things that we're doing with the staff on those 3 days. One of the things that we've really tried to prioritize here with all of the things that are happening around the district is making sure that the teachers have plenty of time in their room to be prepped and ready to go, especially at the middle school, not having been able to get in there here until kind of as we get to the start of the school year. We want to make sure that the teachers feel ready and prepared. So we're trying to maximize the time that they have within their classrooms to make sure that they are ready for the kiddos when they are here on day one. So if you have any questions about that schedule, please don't hesitate, let me know. I'll answer anything that I can for you. The other thing else I just wanted to put out there, we did receive preliminary set of data for state testing. We started kind of looking through that data. One of the things we want to wait to do to go over it with you is that we want to have an idea of what it looks like across the state. With this being the first year of online for everyone, and both ELA and math, we really want to be able to compare and see what happened out there with everybody else. And talking to colleagues in other districts, everybody kind of feels the same way right now. There's a lot of unknown on what this is going to look like in terms of results. So we want to wait and make sure that we have comparables so that we can say, okay, what happened with us is what happened elsewhere, or it didn't. So we just want to be able to provide a really accurate picture of what's coming. So once we have more formalized data from the state, we'll have something prepared for you to take a look at how our test scores ended up. But outside of that, that's all I have for you right now.
Thank you, Dr. Kramer. All right, it's a good segue into our next lines of presentations, which are kind of our presentations and overviews for the back-to-school preparations that each school is doing. So we'll go ahead and cue that up, and the stars of the show will be our principals and assistant principals, who will kind of take us through a little overview of each building and each preparation that occurs, and we'll kind of take it from there, and feel free at any point to ask any questions.
All right, good evening. We'll start out with the elementary school. So we just want to do a really big shout out to Mrs. Hansel and all the custodial staff at the elementary building. They did an amazing job. We had on the bottom floor new flooring put down on the main traffic highway floors, even those going back into some of the classroom areas. And the flooring is just, it's gorgeous, and it's really amazing. So we are just so thankful for all that hard work. They worked around some of the scheduling of ESY being in the building. Precious Little Angels still runs their SAC program, so they were able to accommodate many various pieces of the plate there. Thank you to the community. We know that we had an unexpected utility issue this summer that kind of closed down our parking lot. We really appreciate that everyone stayed away for a period of time until we got that fixed, and we just thank you for your patience with that. For the playground update, the tar that had been causing issues, there is a sealant put over some of the lines that were causing issues, so they're now kind of capped, and that will keep the children from getting their shoes destroyed, and teachers and staff. So our flooring has been replaced. We have new signage in there. Mr. Ward worked very hard over the summer creating all new signs, and a lot of it is not just for our decor, but it really helps with safety and security. Everything is labeled, it's clear going one direction and the other, so that if there's ever an emergency, any emergency staff would know exactly where they are, what area they're dealing with. So that was a great job. A really cool project that's going to happen on August 18th is we're working with the Perry County Food Access Coalition. They are going to create a classroom outdoor garden for us. So it will be housed on the elementary school down by the one, now that it's exit only, bus lane, down by kind of the creek and where the trees are. It'll be out in that. There'll actually be outdoor desks and outdoor whiteboards, and it'll be very interactive. And then the Perry County Food Coalition is actually going to help the teachers with the lessons that are going on out there. They're also going to be steel standards aligned, so it's going to be a really great way to incorporate that. That'll happen on August 18th, and they were able to get volunteers from Penn State Health to actually come and create this garden for us. So it's not a burden on the district. It's being fully funded by them, and it will be funded for years by them. Okay, next slide. Academics, we're in our second year of Bridges. We're very excited about that. We always know that we have a 3-year implementation time with this. During the summer trade days, we had teachers really digging in to get a better idea. The first year, they were really figuring out what's going on, how to utilize this. This year, they can get in and better plan and focus in that area. Foundations is now implemented in 4th grade, so we're very excited. So it's a full program from kindergarten to 4th grade, so that will boost our phonemic awareness and phonics and work in that area for ELA. Our focus this year, our last year's focus for the building was explicit instruction, so this year we're taking it further into really focusing that into small group implementation. We're working with communicating our families, learning more about synergy and how we can use that to really help with that. And we reviewed our standards over the summer and actually realigned them to make them more up to date with what we were seeing through the curriculum and the different programs that we're utilizing. The next slide is just a picture. We are completed with our daily schedule, so we have that ready to go. Teachers are already working on that and looking at that to help build their lessons. The next few slides are some of the teachers that Dr. Fox has mentioned. This is Kaylee McGuigan. She's returning to us from as a STEM teacher, so we're excited about that. Mrs. Summers is coming in for 2nd grade. Ms. Badorf is coming in also for 2nd grade. Mr. Matthew Kloss is coming in as one of our autistic support teachers for our autism support classroom. Ms. Renner is coming in for 2nd and 3rd. She's our long-term substitute, so she'll be filling in for one of our 2nd grade teachers, and it worked out perfectly that as that person returns, another person goes off, and she'll be filling in 3rd grade. And then we have our information there. We also have it posted on our Facebook page. I apologize, I didn't wear my glasses tonight, so I have to see it up close. So our kindergarten orientation night will be August 24th, 5:30 to 7:30. And then our 1st through 4th grade back to school night will be August 20th.
Well, at the middle school, we haven't been able to get in, so we are playing it by ear. So gracious for the high school to house us in the library right next door, so we've been making do. We have been able to bop down in there here and there, and I want to say kudos to the construction company because they laid the entire 2nd floor just this week in 2 days, and then we saw it. It looks fabulous. I'm sorry to steal your thunder, Mr. Howell, but it looks really lovely, and you'll probably get more information from him. But I know all of us and the teachers as well are very anxiously awaiting to get in, get their classrooms ready, and things like that. So Mr. Black kind of uploaded some of these dates, kind of outlining what's going on. Fortunately, we are, maintaining and retaining all of our teachers. We don't have any new teachers coming this year. We did have to push back our back to school nights, so we communicated that as soon as we got notice that we weren't going to be able to get them in with the original date. So we pushed 5th grade back to school night to Monday, August 24th from 5 to 7. And then we pushed 6th through 8th grades back to Tuesday, September 1st. So that has all been communicated with families via email as well as Facebook. One thing we're doing, Mr. Black's meeting the 2nd and 3rd day of school. He's taking time. We're making time to sit down with every single homeroom and grade level to outline expectations and specifically go over the cell phone policy and any changes that we have made to that from last year and previous years. So that's all scheduled. Not much on there. I know an email just went out about fall pictures. You wanted me to highlight the fall pictures. I I know we changed our 6th to 8th grade schedule back to school night based on parent feedback and teacher feedback. They wanted to just kind of come in, hear the opening information, and then just follow the student's schedule. So we made changes to that based on last year's feedback. Sorry, I forgot to tell you that. And then, okay. This is the updated middle school cell phone policy. It does kind of mirror the high schools, but considering they're a tad bit younger, we do give them 2 warnings. So the first and second offense are warnings, and then it's a lunch detention, and every time they have to put it in their locker. And we document this all on a Google sheet. We typically don't have a ton of repeat offenders. Once they get past their second or third time, they realize, we mean business, I guess you could say. But Mr. Black has already emailed this numerous times to families. It's been posted on Facebook. I just sent out our back to school newsletter just today, and there was a link to this as well. So it has been thoroughly communicated about the updated cell phone policy moving forward for the school year.
And this is enumerated in the district code of conduct as well.
And then the last thing, we did make quite a small changes, but big changes to the schedule. We made homeroom a little bit longer. There was so rushed. It was like by the time the kids got in and heard announcements, they were like running out of the door to go to first period for 5th and 6th grade. So we extended homeroom a little bit longer, and then it really only shortened classes by 1 minute, Jason said. So they're following this same amount of classes, but we extended homeroom to have a little bit more time if teachers need to touch base about anything. The other kind of major change is you'll see in 5th and 6th grade, we have a 10-minute block called the afternoon reset. This was kind of put in there for various reasons. Depending on if they had social studies or PE, they were up and down from lunch or recess. They had coats everywhere, iPads. They forgot the iPad. Then there's 14 kids going back up to get their iPad for health class. So that way, everybody's going to either leave lunch or recess, return upstairs, kind of get themselves together. I know for 5th grade specifically, with the whole transition, they might be doing more classroom building community activities, especially at the beginning of the year, reminding them of where they're going and things like that. So I know since I'm overseeing 5th and 6th grade, I'm really excited about this because a lot of behaviors came out from the lunch and recess. They were loud and hyper. So coming back and playing calming music, yoga, whatever the teachers want to do to kind of get kids back into learning mode, I guess you could say. By doing this, we got teacher feedback from 7th grade. They were the only grade level that had their win or flex period split. They had it for 12 minutes, and then they had lunch, and then 18 minutes. So by putting this afternoon reset in, the 7th grade team will now have a solid win flex period for instructional purposes that will be more conducive for learning. So we were able to do that for the teachers based on their feedback as well. I think that's it.
Thank you for everything in the preparation, elementary and middle. Just a little bit on there's obviously going to be an implementation when it comes to cell phones, right, and the use of mobile devices, as outlined in our district code of conduct. The idea really is about changing culture. It's about the idea of preserving and utilizing that classroom time and lessen any distractions that could be there. And it's going to be those conversations that need to occur. At the middle school, as was stated, cell phones will be turned off and stored. And to help with that, due to the lockers not necessarily locking throughout the hallways like they do in the high school, the district has purchased yonder pouches through a grant to be able to have the students secure those during the students' homeroom period where they'll be kept. So there'll be a process in place. They'll go over that the first couple of days of school to implement that, and that's already started to be communicated. So thank you for all your work on that, and we'll lobby it now over to high school. Mr. Funk?
Thank you. I think the outside of the building looks amazing, and it was very impressive watching them paint the logo on the side. We saw them stencil and painting it. I was very impressive. So had many positive comments. So thank the school board for approving that makeover. It makes it feel like Susquenita. And I think one of the biggest things I've had comments on is painting the entryway black. It's been red. It's been red forever, which didn't make any sense, but it's black and it really pops. So I think that's great. So as I spoke and Mr. Page spoke last year a couple times, we piloted a new schedule multiple times to check with lunches, and it was a success with getting the lunch through. This is the new schedule for next year. Every student will have a flex period, 30-minute flex period. Every student will have a 30-minute lunch, and there will be no to-go VOTEC lunches, which is something we wanted to get rid of. And it should work out. We finished the schedules, and it really worked out nicely. It'll take us a couple years to get the seniors who might have more gaps through, but the freshmen and sophomores, the schedule's lined up very nicely. So we're excited to get this, and especially having that built-in flex time every single day that's with an assigned teacher, not just a free-for-all study hall. Something new this year, well, we'll get to that. Back to school night is Wednesday, September 2nd from 6 to 8 here at the high school. Feedback from the teachers, they wanted to get it at the very beginning after only like a week of school, so we were able to move that. Usually we have some open house days where students can come in and walk around. Mr. Page took the lead on this and is actually having sort of a, yes, it's still informal, but on Thursday, August 20th, you can come, stop by, have tours, but he's turned it into more of a event while you're here with scavenger hunt to get you familiar with the school and lockers, and you can get a prize for completing the scavenger hunt, be entered into a prize. So he's done a nice job in putting that together. And, whoops, go back, please. And the new senior activity that I guess I gave into this year. I think it's great. A lot of schools do it. It is fun. We were able to work through all the details. But seniors who have a parking spot may fill out an application and paint their parking spot. We have 2 designated days, like after school, that we'll be here monitoring, and we'll get the spots painted. There's about 2 pages of guidelines that they must follow. If you recall what anything but a backpack rules I had to send out, this was probably twice as long, but they're excited. I sent that out, and I think the next day I had drawings in. So I think it's a great thing for our seniors. And yes, at the end of the year, they have to be painted over. Okay, Aubrey. We're hosting another 2 exchange students this year. We've been very fortunate since the board revised the policy a couple years ago to really enrich our students with exchange students. We have 2 coming in this year, one from Ecuador and a young lady from Norway. The past exchange students we have, Friedi from Germany was 2 years ago, and last year we had 3, Marlies, Kylo, and Fernanda. We're all here, and they had a great experience and still keep in touch with teachers and students. So a lot of information up there, but it is in the code of conduct. Is the high school is off and away cell phone. It's bell to bell, 7:45 to 2:45 in the school building. It's a way to help students become less distracted during the school day. We have the violations issued out, listed up there. But there's also flexibility, not with necessarily using your cell phone, but knowing students and families have situations. And the big key piece of this will be communicating. If the student knows they need to find out when they're working, come to the office. Tell me, we can figure something out on how you can check your work schedule. Or if there's an emergency about parents contacting the office. So we really work with students. It just takes responsibility and communication. To start the year, we're going to start enforcing it, but not enforcing the consequences at the very beginning. That way we can educate the students on what the expectations are. Like redirecting them to follow these, but at the same time, after September 8th is when we'll actually be documenting for the different consequences. So we're looking forward to this, that I think will be best for the students.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's certainly a total team effort. All of us, staff, teachers, students, all partnering together to have that free area to be able to continue to have conversations and not be distracted. And I know it may seem like a long period of time for a student, but once we get into the groove here, and with the new schedule as well, there won't be a lot of time that will be unintended time during the school day.
And I got a little bit ahead of myself before, but here's the specific information regarding the freshmen, the informal open house.
And that's
Thank-
all for the high school,
All
I
right,
guess. Yes,
thank you.
Craig. So I wanted to take time to talk about technology real quick and the Synergy Student Information System. So this is where we house all of our demographic information, student academic records, and things of that nature, and our progress in that transition as we look to roll that out here in the fall. So we've worked diligently the last couple of months to integrate all of our third-party integrations into that SIS. So any app that we're using external, we'll draw some information from that, and we'll utilize the information in that to teach students and gather data and whatnot, purely for academic purposes. And we have also launched the online registration portal, the Parent View app, and developed resources for our staff and administrators for when they go to use it in real time as well. So we're really excited to hit the ground running here in the fall with our students, our families, and our administrators using Synergy.
Thank you, and thank you to you and to the entire tech team. This is anytime you transition from 20 plus years of a student information system and the massive amounts of data to migrate to a new student information system is not only a massive, but it's a Herculean task, and one certainly that requires a tremendous amount of data review, corrections, and the only thing we ask parents, community, teachers, staff, administrators, all of us, is just patience. We will get there. We will get it right. We will get it corrected. We are dedicated to ensure it. This year will be a learning curve throughout, but we're going to make sure that everything is accurate. We're going to make sure that we do our best to get all the answers, and we have a committed team to be able to do that. And once we get through, this is a student information system and platform that we will grow into, not grow out of. And we're excited about that, and we're excited about the prospects that it will provide in terms of communication and harnessing. From a parent point of view, it gives you a tremendous amount of information in a very accessible way, and we'll get and provide that information as we continue and workshops on how to be able to do that. So stay with us. As easy as it can be to be frustrated by technology sometimes, we'll get through it, and we'll work through all of the obstacles, hurdles, and any transitions together. So thank you again for all of your leadership and for the entire tech team and for everybody, because it is. If it was easy, it would be transitioning, biannually, but it is not. So it's something that, we embraced and we continue to roll forward with. So thank you. All right, let's shift gears and talk a little construction here. We've been talking construction for a while, and we're going to continue to. So just a little update for August of 2026. You'll see our graphic here as well using Notebook LM, just taking kind of some of our projects together and how and what some of these projects will look like. We conducted these projects, so as people began to look at some of the outcomes of these projects, this was multiple years in the making. We had 2 feasibility studies that were conducted. The second one was a little more robust of a feasibility study that took a look at our entire campus and our buildings in general, looked at our systems, looked at our needs, and from there we were able to really kind of hone in on what was best for us and how can we take and kind of couple together a massive amount of projects in a short period of time without really delaying operations in campus by utilizing a slight return. And we're able to do that through the laws of what they call the Guaranteed Energy Savings Act, or GESA, by working with Quandel, who was our selected Guaranteed Energy Savings, or ESCO company. So one of the questions is, hey, that's great, but how are we paying for all this? Well, we issued and what were issued a small bank note in 2024 for $15 million. And in that small bank note that we issued was for Cumberland Perry Career and Technical Center at $1.38 million. Did I put something wrong?
I wonder if I can get a small.
Well, it's because of the amount, it was able to be a bank issue note, not necessarily a bond. So there's different regulations according to that and what it can be used for. But we were able to accomplish these projects with keeping that debt service run the exact same. So that's a lot of the financial preparation from our business office and from your prudence as a board to utilize that debt service and to utilize that debt run to get an accomplish of projects without increasing or requiring the use of other means. Just a little construction meeting, or updates. We've been at construction meetings every Thursday. I think we're at meeting number 19 coming up here this Thursday. It's been great. Our partners have been incredible. Thank you for consideration next Tuesday on the amendment number 2, because in GISA projects, there are not change orders, there are only amendments. And amendments have to be agreed upon, and amendments are usually additions to a project. And one of the additions we saw was our own selves saying, okay, wait a minute, we have these walls opened up, and we have these semi-permeable walls that sound carries and light carries, and it's noisy. How can we create this permanent wall that some of our teachers and staff have been asking for to create that? And now was the time to be able to do that, since construction teams were mobilized and the grid system was already being built and exposed. So we're going to continue. They're again, balancing. Right now there's a balancing that's going to occur with all the HVAC systems and equipment, as well as the controls. We're working on the completion of our bathrooms. They're doing construction here, as well as the middle school. Commissioning will occur. We're going to have lots of controls training, so we'll get to figure out how to use all of the systems and buttons. And then cleaning will occur. They'll begin with a cleaning team going on, getting at kind of all that dust that was produced with the removal of the ceiling tiles, and then moving some of the furniture back into place as we begin. The end of this week will be our walkthroughs that will start with starting the initial punch list of areas that need a little bit more TLC. As was already shown, just some construction update photos, and this is just some depictions of the hallways at the elementary school. You'll notice the colors on the floor represent the colors in the hallways as part of the wayfinding, as well as another way just to get some color into those floors as well to make it pop throughout. This is the amendment consideration. You'll see some of the older partitions that were there. Some of those partitions are in better shape than others, but that is what's working to be removed and permanent walls to be established. There were 7 of those, creating quieter spaces, and those will be part of that Amendment 2 consideration at $44,495, all part of that ESCO project if the Amendment 2 will be approved. Amendment 2 was also advertised in accordance with the regulations of the ESCO. Some work going on. If you direct your attention out to the back windows, you'll see some of the new windows that are on the back side of the LGI right here. You'll see a pile of dirt, and please don't go back there because that dirt is just the top of it, and it will extend down several feet down to the bottom of the footer. At that point, you'll see here what's happening is, that's okay. In the next, that is the old waterproofing barrier that you'll see some discoloration of the wall previously and the discoloration coming down. This is what happens sometimes when we get a heavy rain. The water begins to come down to the bottom of the footer and collect here as well. So it's being exposed. That waterproofing barrier will have a new waterproofing barrier. There'll be a swale put outside that should collect several of the water from coming towards the building, as well as a secondary drainage system being put in. The idea is to collect as much water before it hits the building, and then that waterproofing barrier will be established, and will be established in accordance to its installation regulations, meaning it's going to go up a little bit higher because it shouldn't be at ground or soil level, and that should protect the majority of the water here as well, and prevent this from happening and any further foundation issues that could occur at the LGI site. Questions on that before I move forward? All right. Some of the other projects, it was cool. We brought a big crane in. The big crane brought in the new chiller, removed the old chiller, and the big crane also removed these water tanks that you heard me talk about and say, what in the world were these? Well, these two giant water tanks fit on these big tractor trailers and were removed. And this is what the area looked like after the water tanks are removed. You'll see there's an open area there. So it gives us a future space. Could be eventually enclosed with a roof or a metal roof to provide some storage. Could be lots of different things. I have a couple of ideas already of what that space could potentially be in the future. But that wall where the infill was is filled in, and it's creating a barrier between the exterior and the interior. So those tanks have finally been removed. Some painting at both buildings occurs and is occurring right now. The high school is a very, very large building and requires a lot of different there's a lot of different pitches to this building and a lot of different space, so it's taking a considerable amount of time to paint. As was mentioned by Mr. Funk, the artist did come in, and her and her family, she's an art student in Baltimore, came in with her, her projector, hand drew that on, and they painted. And it took them a couple of days, and it's an incredible job that they did, an incredible family, so we thank them for their work on this project. And you'll see some of the middle school additions to the colorations there as well. So this is what some of the building looked like before. The exposed, you see the ceiling tile was taken out. It was completely removed. That unit was one of the new units that were popped into place. The old units were removed, so it should be quieter. It should be cooler. There's going to be more controls put in as well as the system begins to balance. And this is what the new room is going to look like with the Templock tiles that are there as well. And the Templock tiles should reduce some of the cooling and heating costs that are associated there, as well as reduce noise. There is new LED lights that have dimming features built into those LED lights, so it can go with a softer light based upon the teacher or the student's preference or needs that are happening within the classroom, so no longer needing to ask Mr. Howell and his team to go in and disconnect a light or put a light cover on. There's the automatic features that are there within the lights and the controls as well. So high school selected room renovation. One of the things that we talked about before, and we asked RLPS, they designed a really cool plan to be able to get into some of these areas and rooms, to be able to provide for some updated storage, to be able to provide a room really for our theater program. How can they get an area to be able to change? How can they get an area to be able to put in and put some makeup on and prepare, instead of using hallways or nooks or crannies or auxiliary rooms? How can we give them an area to prepare for some of their stage designs and some of the prep work, also with some of the costume designs, and keep it in an area that's adjacent to the stage? Well, the AD was Scott. His office was relocated to the main office, so he was evicted, and all his stuff was relocated. And we began, and our incredible team, maintenance team, under the direction of Mr. Howell, hard work of Mr. Dan Long, was able to really recreate these spaces and do that. And remember, we bid this out, and the bids came back incredibly high. So I'm excited to show you a glimpse of what some of the work is that they were able to do. This next picture shows what a recreation of the athletic director's office could be. The wall was closed in. Mirrors are put along the base. We're going to also get some chairs underneath for them to be able to put in. This is just two pictures looking that broke in the corner there. Counters were custom measured and put in, as well as the mirrors in and around. The next picture shows that far wall, and there were changing areas that are built in and custom built as well, that students can now go in and be able to privately change their next costume set change and use these in this area and space a lot differently. The performing arts continued into that graphic arts room. So remember, this one space that was located here had old tile on the floor. Well, they went in, and Dan was able to floor level that and put a nice kind of epoxy dry lock coat on it and create this really non-slip space, repurposing some of the locking cabinetry that's there as well, and removed a really outdated dirty sink with a new laundry sink to be able to use for paintbrushes and any preparation that's needed as well. This shows from the version looking on, and the far right picture with the electrical box shows the hanging of rods here as well that are durable and able to withstand and hold several costumes that are needed for storage. In this room that once held old tables and different things that needed to be relocated. So kind of using that space differently. Questions on any of these spaces? Our final project was one that we had to punt on a little bit due to time, which was the elementary parking lot. Just because we were punting on time doesn't mean we're still not in the process of working on that, and we are. So this is that initial design that we are still working on currently right now, and this design is threefold. It's separating the bus and the pedestrian traffic, creating speed tables on Susquenita Drive to reduce the speed at which time some people use as a pass-through, putting in an additional crosswalk, and then milling and sealing this drive, which has some wear and tear on this particular road, and then using those millings down at the baseball field to create additional parking spaces that are needed at the baseball field. So where we're at currently right now is our next steps. Surveying was done. Data was taken by Pannoni, the engineers for the project. Drawings and designs are being finalized because we had some infiltration testing that was conducted here this summer. And the infiltration testing changed the plan slightly. Instead of, it needed to be what's considered to be a managed release concept for stormwater. So it kind of just changed the plan a little bit. And we held a Perry County Conservation District, held a meeting with us to do an initial review of some of those plans. Feedback was good, so now they're looking to take that into the full permitting side of things as well. So our next steps will be to go to permitting, see what the permits come back as, secure any of those drawings, get those drawings stamped, and then begin to look at bidding in and around February of 2027, which will allow us the time needed if we needed to rebid or accept the lowest bid, and then begin construction this summer. The last project is a new additional project. It's one we talked about a little bit, but it's one that's exciting because it's really starting to take shape, and it's one that was the leadership of one of our seniors, Brindley Richards, who really sought this out, and under her direction and leadership, and really said, we need a larger flagpole for the stadium. When you go into our stadium, the goalposts are larger, the flagpole is small, it's kind of tucked away in the corner. It needs to be a prominent source of pride when we do the national anthem in a visual representation. And we all agreed with what she had said. And certainly with Mr. Markowitz and with the booster support, we were able to get some solid funding from the T-Mobile Friday Night Lights for those stadium enhancements. So we're able to use some of those funds to bring that project to life and put in a larger American flagpole. And that currently is ordered and en route here to this area. Once that flagpole gets in, it will be located in and around this area after PA1 call is conducted and it all gets a green light. The flagpole will go here into this area. This area will then get some stone or some decorative material in and around it, as well as maybe some other surprises in and around this area also. So it'll be seen by different variations, as well as the softball field should have a clear access to seeing this flagpole as well. That was a lot. Questions? Flagpole height? Flagpole height? 40 feet.
So what size flag are we?
Big.
Extra large.
We had a flag that was donated to us from, that the student was able to get donated, and I believe it's a pretty large flag. I would have to look, I'm not sure.
So is the idea that we're going to leave the flag up all of the time, or is there going to be, is it going to be taken, okay.
Yep. That flag stays up and the lights are there as well, so it can be an all-weather flag. flown in accordance with the flag code, with the lights being on that and prominently displayed. Oh, you're up, Mr. Markowitz, with a little athletic update to kind of round us out.
Thank you. Okay, so just some fall athletic updates. Before I start with this, we're very excited about the fall. Really had a good summer. Boys soccer did a great job. Football went to camp and competed with some really good teams. So we're really excited. Nothing but good feedback so far. Football heat acclimation week begins Monday. Official practices for all fall sports will begin the following Monday on the 17th. Now, right now, we used Big Teams and Schedule Star to post our schedules online on our website. Those websites, it's now being moved to Arbiter Scheduler. So it's completely different. So they had to migrate everything over to a new website. We do have our new website, but the migration did not work well. So it says we have like 8 football teams, and it says it's a mess. So we are going to go in there and fix it. Our hopes are by next week it will be published, and that's why I handed out some packets to you guys for the game schedules that we have so far. The only schedule we're missing right now is junior high cross country. I am working with Coach Brady on that as this week and next week, and we should have a schedule out. Fall athletics parent presentation is going to be Wednesday, August 19th. From 6 to 6:30, myself and our trainer Dawn will do a presentation, and from 6:30 to 7, you will then go to a classroom wherever your child is playing a sport, and it will be more of a sport-specific presentation by the head coach. Participation numbers, and this is just an estimation. It's based on who's showing up in the summer, who's been communicating with the coaches. So for football right now, at varsity level, we're looking at anywhere from 35 to 40 total, and for junior high, around 30 to 35. So a pretty good number for football, and we want it to continue to grow. Girls soccer, 30 to 35 for JV and varsity. Now, boys soccer is it's a very popular program right now. We're expecting 45 to 50 to try out for JV and varsity. And if you remember last spring, we had like 52, I think, try out for junior high soccer. So it is a sport that it is getting very popular. We have very big expectations for our boys soccer team this year. I'm very excited for all fall sports, but that was a sport that I'm particularly excited to watch. Field hockey, anywhere from 25 to 30, returning state champs. Again, going to be working very hard to get back to that spot. And then cross country, between junior high and varsity, we're looking at around 25 to 30 total. So those are our participation numbers so far. So right now, we are doing the same thing we did last year with the all-year pass. We already did start to sell these all-year passes. There was a proposal about seasonal passes for families. So if you want to just get a fall pass, if you just want to get a winter pass or a spring pass, we would give an approved amount per season. Now, we can absolutely update the passes and make them more seasonal specific by putting fall, winter, and spring. There is an issue here. We have already passed out yearly passes, and I think that can cause a little bit of confusion, and we can have people say, oh, I bought the yearly pass, but now I just want this, and it kind of gets confusing. And then I just wanted to show you guys what the value is based on our fall schedule for this season. So boys soccer is 7 home games, $35 value. Girls soccer, 7 home games, another $35 value. Football, 5 home games, $25 value. Field hockey, 8 home games, a $40 value. So just for the fall sports, it's a total of $135. And, the potential issue that I've discussed with Mr. Funk a little bit too is, it's hard to really put a lower number. I think, in my opinion, we stick to the all-year pass. We continue to do that because it's a great deal. I mean, that's just the fall. So you're already making out in just the fall. If we do the, winter and spring, winter is also the longest season. So again, you see some inconsistencies there, but again, like I said, $75 in my opinion is really, really great. I do understand the proposal to split it into seasons. I think that targets families where their child only plays one sport, it's one season, they're not interested in going to any other seasons, this is it. So I do understand it. I just think there's some potential problems that could arise if we make a change right now.
I think in this instance, I think you did a good job of kind of breaking down the value associated with getting really an individual pass. And by doing so, not only can you attend multiple fall, I mean, that's just looking at the fall as a $135 value. You have winter with wrestling and all kinds of basketball. And then you have spring, at which time we are charging and have in the past and will continue with baseball and softball, track and field. So, you attend and want to go out. It's a great way to stop by and support the Blackhawks. And really, we're not making a tremendous amount of, this is not a money-making event. This is a community way to be able to get people, a pass to be able to go and support either their family, their friends, or just the community in general to be able to support. We are not, there's obviously still our seniors get in for free. Teachers and staff members get in for free. You as a board, we encourage you to come as well. And that's one of the small perks you get as being a board member. You get in for free. So I think it's maybe something we look at in the future. But for right now of selling, I think it might be good to keep consistent is my opinion. But appreciate you taking a look at that and analyzing that. And to any of the community members who haven't purchased one yet and still want one, there's still time. So please come into the high school office, purchase a pass or two. They make great gifts. If you want to gift one to a friend, you can purchase one for a friend or two. That's acceptable as well. That kind of rounds out our presentations for the start of the school year. I know we're going to have a lot more, and we'll be communicating a lot more, and there will be a lot more things that we'll need to tackle together. But that kind of rounds out tonight. Is there any questions from anyone here on any of the presentations? Yes, we do have available for public comment at this time.
Kelly Noss, Penn Township. Mine's for IT. The iPad insurance, how is that going to go about to pay that before the beginning of school year?
So we don't have that third-party integration integrated just yet. So with that, we've directed individuals who would like to purchase that to make a check out to Susquenita School District. It's the $10 yearly annual, and then just bring it into the district office or the office building of your student, and they'll get it over to the district office.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't believe at this time there's any online comments. Any comments from any board members? Administrators? All right. Have a great evening, everybody. See you Tuesday.